Hello, people. It is 2:20 p.m., August 21, 2017. I guess everybody's busy watching the eclipse, or we're watching the eclipse, whatever. Okay? I got enough dark spots blackening over my light as it is. I don't need to watch another one, see how it works. But if you're into it, that's fine and dandy. Okay, my today's issue was our friend here on Facebook and YouTube, wherever else, G+, I think, and his creeps in his attic. And I'll tell you why this is important after we see this. Come on, roll that beautiful bean footage. Might be gonna buffer. Jeez, oh peas. Well, at least it's...
Okay, but the first thing I'm going to do is go turn the air conditioner on for the burglars. Because I don't want to have dead people seeing, and you don't know how many people that have said, oh, just get you a little window unit.
Okay, I know how that sounds, but it's okay. Because I wouldn't want dead people in my attic either. Alright, and I'll explain this later.
Because they don't care about killing the people that break them home. They don't care about them. Just like the mob people traffickers. Get a gun and shoot them. They don't care. And that way they're off the hook. That's why them dirty cops are off the hook for trying to murder me or help murder me or whatever. And let me go turn that on and I'll flip this around. Hold on.
Now, I know I wrote up here that he's just too nice. And he's got it all spelled out for us, pretty much, that they have been stealing heating and cooling from him as uninvited guests. Okay? They quiet back down until it gets too cold, then they get rowdy again and the alarms go off. This sounds like something like a carnival game. Like something they would have at the Missouri State Fair. I'm not kidding you. Okay? It gets too hot up there. He wants to go turn the AC on. I should reload that right there. Where was it? 254. Yeah, this and the buffering.
Just like the mob people traffickers. Get a gun and shoot them. They don't care. And that way they're off the hook. That's why them dirty cops are off the hook for trying to murder me or help murder me or whatever. And let me go turn that on and I'll flip this around.
That just drives me up a wall. And then I mentioned, well, because he's such a nice guy, he's basically playing housemaid. You know, they B&E his home, break and enter. And then he's playing housemaid, room service next. Take them some iced tea. I know you do things there different in Texas. But hey, what next? They get choosy about the toilet paper and maybe leave notes on the kitchen table. It keeps on going like it already has. So there you go. But the reason this is significant is, and I'll show you here in just a second until I explain the story. Alright, this is going to take a moment. As you know, my connection rate is not the best in the world, but it is a connection, so I mean, why should I be too horribly offended at that, right? So, okay, we get to here. Of course, it's got to load. I should have had this part up already. I'm so sorry. Alright. And I tried to explain this part to him too one time. We've spoken on the phone one time. Okay? Because we messaged back and forth several times. I'd find something, a potential interest to him, and I'd shoot it to him in his messenger. Or, I'd get his alerts or news feed or whatever. It's not like we're bosom buddies or anything, or even had coffee. So, don't go there. But see, like I said, this is going to have to load. It makes me mad too. But I'll show you. Okay, there we go. That part can pause now. I got what I wanted. Pardon me, the daylight's out of me. And I had been here this morning earlier, so he's got all of his links up here, a lot of them. Different ones of the burglar alarms going off and blah, blah, blah. It's done loading, I guess, in that way. Anyway, what I wanted to show you is his name. Alright? When we were getting all this crap given to us in 65301 Sedalia, Missouri, by Family Services, alright, I received in my name, this went around John this time, again, a court summons about putting the locks on the doors that they told us to put there. I do realize how majorly crazy and nuts that sounds. Aside from people thinking that maybe I'm making it up. But my mother was a witness, and hopefully when she went to her little different meeting things she went to, Good Sam's or Ladies Auxiliary or one of the 12 and 12 meetings she attended on my behalf and her behalf as a parent, she brought it up to enough people because she did find out. See, for the longest time she thought it was all in my head. Alright? And I'm like begging and pleading all over the place. And I didn't want to get angry because I realized for me, and same for a lot of people, anger is one letter short of danger. Alright? Put the D in front of anger and you're in danger. Get it? So I knew not to go there. But I was spinning my wheels anyway, so I guess maybe getting angry would have been the last resort, but I was too used to counting to 20 forward, and if that didn't work, count 20 reverse to try to keep my temper cool. Alright, so they had told us to put them on there. And I don't know if it even computed when we told my parents. See, we'd go over quite often, have dinner and hang out, this and that. And I'm thinking right about this moment that when we told them this, that it didn't even compute. Meaning, it didn't even faze them. It didn't sink in, perhaps, until later on. Okay, so this was like a matter of a couple weeks, right? They told us one time, get the locks on there, and that's because we had our son doing his boogie off down the street thing. Okay. And did what they told us, put the locks on. Alright, the next visit, here came this guy, one of their workers, approved it, and then they still weren't happy. Seems like these people are never happy. Can't ever do enough to suit them. made me go to sessions. Well, by this time, I'm such a squirrely mess anyway. Well, this thing and that thing going on in our life. In our very own little world. And it was a very small little world, but it was ours, right? Mom, you've got to go with me. I may have even started asking her to go with me before that one. Please go with me. You're just going to tell me I'm lying. You're just going to say I'm making it up for attention. You're just going to say, take your medicine, you'll be okay, it'll go away. So she goes with me. And we're sitting there. And I'm sitting on the left. And Mom's sitting on my right. And these chairs in front of this lady's desk. She said, oh, how's it going? How you doing? Oh, I'm fine. It's going great. We got the locks on the doors they wanted on there, and everything's going to be just fine. What? Her hands flew up. What? You can't do that. That's illegal. Well, I'm under the impression they work with the law, hand in hand. Why in the devil would they tell us to do something that's illegal? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? And instead of going after them, they decided to come after me. So my mom, we went out to pick Bradley up from soccer practice one night, or whatever it was. I don't think it was soccer practice, though. Well, it might have been, but might have been scouts. I don't know now. And she's telling me this story. It was before she got sick with the cancer. And I'm just sitting there kind of in my own little daze, like, yeah. Taking it all in, you know. Trying to remember. I got it pretty much back now. Although their traumas kind of played hard on it. She said, I told her, that woman, while she was dialing the police. Well, if you arrest her, I guess you gotta arrest me. And held her wrists together, up to her, you know, like, if you're gonna arrest her, you gotta arrest me. Telling her, too, well, I bet you got locks on your doors. I've got locks on my doors. Like they were making this huge issue about locks on the doors. Okay, but when they brought me that court summons, was a bifold paper, or how many ever papers was in there. Folded once, and then the second time to make it, if they had put it in the envelope, it would fit. Handed it to me. But on the back, this man's name right here, Webb, said Veronica Webb. It had all the rest of our address, etc., correctly, except for the last name. And on the front of the court summons was all my correct info, including the name. And I had to go to court to that, and my mother worried like crazy that I was going to plead guilty because of the insanity of the whole thing. So, might have to do another one. Thanks for listening.